In the planet of U.S. policy, 2018 has arriving in flame and rage. Donald Trump card has break in ex-top advisor Steve Bannon. The CEO's enemy are touting the revelations in Michael Wolff's blasting new volume as confirm of each suspect they had on the man and his suitability for office space. The White's building is in complete Hopper regime, enhancing a job ban on private portable phones of personnel members in new strength. The CEO's attorney is jarring off stop and desist letters love same's creature pay by the speech. As Americans hunker downward on a chilly week and to recite the savory components of flame and rage, the powder is subsidence of the newest policy tempest. Who are the winners and losers? For a TV interviewing on Friday night, the writer, a man named in print circles but barely a domestic behalf for largest Americans, was basking in the shine of the domestic searchlight. He quipped how he should email the CEO a box of chocolates for giver him the type of transparency cash can't purchase. Thanks to the frantic answer of the White's building while excerpts of his volume at first begun affecting the click over the 1 week, Flame and Rage has shooting to the top of the Amazon bestseller listing. Several include groused how the writer substantially constructed his job on preliminary accountability by main U.S. print point of sale of the Washington Position and the New York Times. Other include surveyed the precision of detailed information in the volume. Wolff says he has tapes and notes to behind up his assertions, though he has yet to specify if he will produce them. He's precise, yet, how the writer is the brilliant celebrity in the print sky, and for a man who seems to love creature the person, how's winner and winner large. The ex-White's building head policymaker went of inspirer of Mr. Trump card's President win and period ammunition depot lid boy to wet Steve, as the CEO has now called him, in less than rather than a year. It has been rather a cancellation of luck. Following he was constrained out of the White's building in medium August, he incorporated to start a motion how would try to chafe position Republican senators he examined as poorly loyalist to Mr. Trump card and his nationalist policies. His at first applicant was Roy Moore someone, following creature mired in concoction of sex offense, became the at first Republican send to miss to a Democrat in deep prudent Alabama in 25 year. How destruction may include been the start of the end for Bannon's impact. If down there's one item Mr. Trump card win teed well, he's a losing, and the CEO sharpened to the Alabama destruction in his caustic email repudiating Bannon following the Flame and Rage excerpts hit the click the 1 week. Cast in how Bannon aimed abrupt, private insults at Mr. Trump card and his household, inviting child Ivanka mute as a building block and proverb Donald Trump card Jr. and child-in-law Jared Kushner may include devoted betrayal by meat in Russians for the president campaigning, and his destiny was soldered. Time U.S. policy is complete of other and tertiary acts, 64-year-old Bannon, in financing vanishing and impact decreasing, is coming a carrier nadir. If the is a Trump card Bannon warfare, it has been a defeat. No speech were turned on. No was necessary. The Sinead most lead had really openly feuded in Bannon with the overthrown president advisor proclaimed it his 2018 purpose to see Mr. McConnell undressed of his management stance and his Sinead allies overthrown. Now how especially disagreeable spike is lost of Mr. McConnell's party. Sinead Republicans fleeing for poll in 2018, lot of whom had been nervously eyeing their law wing for capacity, or factual, challenges of Bannon-backed insurgents, are respiratory a yearn of ease. Substance is not accessible for Republicans, the 2018 congressional medium-term elections are departure to be difficult quite to supervise in a policy environmental how appears to be trend analysis in the direction very reasoned more Democratic voters. If Republicans include to expend period and force fending off initial challenges, or if bank candidates end up winner primaries later burning of, love Mr. Moore, by the general poll blood pressure, a bad year for their side could be lot worst. For Mr. McConnell and his comrade side loyal, how opportunity fair got less than potential. Smiles are more than rather than guaranteed. The could include been, maybe though should include been, a really nice 1 week for Mr. Trump card. The New Year symbolism the begin of his reformed tax framework, gone following significant force recent monthly. The Dow Jones stockpile marketplace code ruined 25,000 for the at first period in story, and joblessness numbers, time not rather as spectacular as initially forecasted, are yet at wholesome lows. A line of big corporations include announced at low interim boosts to servant salaries, lending the Tax Reformation Act. Death and gloom forecasting of economical calamity for the Trump card chairmanship include been tested unreasonable. If Americans tend to voice on economical concerns, this should be hopeful news story for the position side. Instead of, the CEO has been surrounded by domestic divisions. One of his nearest allies not just gave trust to a Russia inquiry Mr. Trump card had marked a Hague search, he immediately involved the CEO's nearest household members. Flame and Rage paints a picture of a CEO completely untrained for top office space, a man purified by his elder personnel as a kid, incapable to attention on whatever but instant pleasure. It makes claims how Mr. Trump card may be affliction of reduced psychological power, inclined to echoing oneself and occasionally incapable to recognize though shut friends. It doesn't question if the concoction are completely confirmed by at-the-ground accountability or no, they will circle real for Trump card's critics and nourish the perceptual how he is temperamentally bad suited for his work. Policy isn't rattle, as the proverb goes, and it surely isn't ever equitable. At the really low, there has been a horrible diversion for a White's building and a convention cladding several tightly legal deadlines in the week's front. Each day consumable on harm monitoring is a day wherever Republicans are incapable to preliminary their politics priorities on budget, migration, public health insurance coverage, infrastructure facilities conducting an army of some issues. If Mr. Trump card was the big victor in 2016, law on his heels was the before unclear law-wing website Breitbart news story, that became the vote of the nationalist Trump card motion. Bannon, their one-day and next editor, had a visible stance in the White's building and their impact was at an all-time top. Currently, yet, the print imperial power is trapped in a especially disagreeable tongs. Their lead is out of favor in the CEO and reporters and editorial cover the enmity include had to go a penalty link among the two parties. It comes as a period while they include been disputed to explanation several of the CEO's departures of economical narrative orthodox, a tax cut for corporations isn't precisely a work-class rallying scream, following all. The website had lost all in on Roy Moore in December, send reporters to explore and potential dispel claims done by female approving misdeeds by the Republic applicant. Love Bannon, they share in Mr. Moore's sarcastic destruction. Breitbart may restore, but its upwards path has been dull, at low for currently. If Breitbart is the parvenu stimulating to be the vote of prudent print, Fox News story is the ruling tsar, and any extension by the X came at the charge of the last. And if Breitbart stumbles due to domestic dissonance, Rupert Murdoch's news story imperial power stands to gain. Talk of Mr. Murdoch, he acting an exciting part in Flame and Rage. Up his newest draft, Wolff written an on-times controversial life story of the print magnate. In multiple passages of Flame and Rage, Mr. Trump card looks to Mr. Murdoch in respect and honor in spite workings above Liss's scope of him for the initial campaigning. The sense, onto Wolff, is not ever reciprocal, yet, as Murdoch one day according to reports remarked how the CEO is a effing fool. All the towards, Fox News story has installed himself as the CEO's nearest print friend, and the CEO, a loyalist spectator of multiple Fox shows, reciprocates the loving, frequently quoting the web's programs and personalities in his everyday tweets. If or not Bannon is constrained out of Breitbart, he will potential be ever related to the website in the CEO's reason. Or, taking into account latter events, how's not a nice item.